English made easy. Hey guys! Bored of those vocab lists? Me too. At 1 Degree North Companion, we're turning wordly wise into an adventure to make learning actually interesting. Let's jump in. Book 3. Lesson 9.
Words are so much more than just their dictionary definitions. They're like keys. They unlock our understanding of why people do the things they do. Today, we're going to use a few of these keys to explore the really complex world of bullying and hopefully see the human stories hiding inside the words themselves. We've all been there, right? In that moment where people are laughing, but it just feels wrong. It really all boils down to one incredibly important question. When does a joke stop being a joke? Where is that invisible line? Let's go find it. All right, so our first step is to actually find that line, to really get a handle on that tiny but absolutely critical shift when harmless fun turns into something that causes real pain. It almost always starts in a place like this. You can practically hear it, the energy, the shouting, the pure joy of kids just playing. It's exactly what positive social interaction looks like. But then, in an instant, the whole feeling can change. And that change, it almost always kicks off with a shift in attitude. Now, attitude is really just a way of thinking or feeling about something. I mean, think about it. A kid can have a grumpy, miserable attitude right before lunch, and then a totally cheerful, happy one right after. It's a powerful thing. And a change in attitude can change everything that happens next. Because a shift in attitude can let something else sneak in. And this is the one ingredient that crosses the line: malice. It's the desire to hurt someone on purpose. It's the huge difference between accidentally bumping into someone and deliberately tripping them. And what's so fascinating here is where the word comes from. It's from the Latin malus, which just means bad. As soon as that simple, raw, bad intention gets involved, the game is over. It's not a joke anymore. Okay. So once we can spot that malicious intent, we can start to understand just how big this problem really is. Let's zoom out now, from that personal feeling to the sobering reality of the numbers. To get a handle on that scale, we often need to survey the situation. And survey is a neat word because it has two key meanings. As a verb, it means to look over or examine something closely, like a principal might survey the playground from her window. But as a noun, it's a study designed to gather information, like a survey to figure out what the most popular school lunches are. And when researchers use these surveys to look into bullying, wow, the results can be staggering. Very often, they show that as many as 1 in 5 students reports being bullied. Just think about that, 1 in 5. It's a simple fraction, but behind that number are millions and millions of stories. And this right here illustrates the most important point of all. Inside that statistic, we find the individual. And the word itself is just incredible. It comes from the Latin in, meaning not, and dividuus, meaning divisible. So an individual is literally someone who cannot be divided. For every single one of those students in that 1 in 5 statistic, the experience isn't just a fraction of their life. It's their whole, complete, indivisible reality. Understanding the problem is one thing, but what do we do about it? This is the pivot point in the story. It's the moment we stop just looking at the problem and start searching for an answer. The search for a solution begins. So what is a solution? Well, on the surface, it's the answer to a problem. But it's such a cool, versatile word. A solution can also be a mixture, like the blend of salt and water you use to make pickles. I kind of love that duality. It makes you think that maybe the best answers aren't just one thing, but a mix of a lot of different ideas and actions. And sometimes part of that solution involves a really difficult step: to confess. It just means to admit you've done something wrong. Maybe you accidentally wrecked a friend's sweater, and you have to confess, even though you're terrified. It's that moment of truth, of finally taking responsibility. And taking that responsibility is so, so important because of what the action caused in the first place: misery. Just a profound sense of unhappiness. A flood of cruel words or a single mean act can cause so much misery. And while a confession can't just wave a magic wand and make it all go away, it's a first step toward acknowledging that pain. Of course, these days, the playground isn't the only place this happens. The challenge has evolved. Now it follows us home, riding in on a digital tide that glows on our screens long after the sun goes down. What makes online harassment so tough is that it's often so gradual. It hardly ever starts with some huge, obvious attack. It's more of a slow creep. And the word itself, gradual, comes from the Latin gradus, which means step. It happens one comment, one mean post, one little step at a time, building and building until it feels totally overwhelming. So, in this step-by-step digital world, how do you even begin to push back without making things worse? Sometimes the first move is just a hint, a little indirect suggestion. It's not a big confrontation, just a subtle signal that says, hey, stop. But in a place like the internet, where tone is so easily misunderstood, what does an effective hint even look like? And that question brings us to our final and maybe most important chapter, moving from being passive to being active. This is about finding the strength not to fight back, but to protect yourself. To defend, it means to protect from attack. And just look at these images. A mother goose instinctively defending her chicks, an athlete setting up a defensive wall to protect the goal. It's this powerful, natural instinct. In fact, the root of the word literally means to strike away or ward off. It's an act of pure preservation. Now, to really understand defend, it helps to look at its opposite, to offend, which means to attack. Think about it in sports. The offense tries to score points. The defense tries to stop them. And this is the crucial takeaway. Defending yourself isn't about starting a fight. It's about ending one. It's about protecting your own goal. So, from understanding a single destructive word like malice to taking a powerful action like defense, it all comes down to this. The biggest, most powerful solutions don't have to be some giant, grand gesture. They can start with one small, deliberate action. So, we come full circle. We know a solution is a mix of different ingredients. It could be a kind word. It could be asking for help. It could just be choosing not to join in. So I'll just leave you with this question. What will your single action be?
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. I'll see you in the next one.